Yo! YouTube, what is good, bruv gang, what is good, and we are back with another video. So Octopath Traveler was a huge success at launch and sold over 100,000 copies its first week back in July 2018 and selling 3 million copies worldwide in September of 2022. With the recent release of Octopath Traveler 2, which saw a 30% drop off in first week sales, going from 100,000 to 78,000, making it the second weakest launch of a Team Asano game, only topping and not by a lot last year's Live Live remake, which sold 71,000 its first week in sales. So stay tuned in this video as we explore what's next for the Octopath Traveler series of games. So despite being, in my opinion, and most likely in the opinion of a lot of JRPG fans alike, Octopath Traveler 2 is probably one of the best JRPGs to come out so far in 2023, in a year stacked full of some incredible releases for the genre. Despite the game being so good and in my opinion an incredible follow-up to the first game, sadly, as I mentioned in the intro, the game has not sold well, taking a 30% drop off from the sales of the first game, which went from 100,000 to 78,000. Now, sales never tell the full story about how good a game is, but it sometimes can be a small inkling into how fans may feel about a series or game. Octopath Traveler was something new and fresh. Aesthetically speaking, the game looked beautiful with those HD 2D sprite graphics, which essentially set a wave and a trend through most games, with fans calling for remakes to be made in the same aesthetic vein such as Dragon Quest III and fingers crossed in the future Chrono Trigger. A part of me feels that the drop off in sales could be to do with the fact that from the first game release and platform wise it has essentially been scattered all over the place. The first game launched for the Nintendo Switch in July 2018, then was announced for PC via Steam in June 2019, and finally on Xbox One in March 2021. Now, just by looking at where the games were released from 2018 to 2021, you could argue as to the fact that why this game was not launched on PlayStation consoles initially. In an interview with Push Square with director Keisuke Miyauchi and producer Masashi Takahashi, they were asked the following question: the first Octopath Traveler isn't available on PlayStation platforms, but its sequel is. Why did you decide to make Octopath Traveler 2 a multi-platform release? Takahashi responded, "Of course, we have all heard all the Octopath Traveler fans out there asking for a PlayStation release, and the team also wanted to challenge ourselves to try get the game on as many platforms as possible. Apart from that, we made the decision internally after observing the sales of other titles." As a follow-up question, Push Square then asked Mr. Takahashi, "Have you thought about releasing the first game on PlayStation?" Takahashi responded, "We did look into it, however, we wanted to focus all our efforts on developing Octopath Traveler 2, and this also links into your next question about whether you need to have played the first game to enjoy Octopath Traveler 2 or not. To reduce misunderstandings about this, we decided against trying to align a PlayStation release of Octopath Traveler with the release of Octopath Traveler 2. So going back to the scattering of the first game's platform releases to the second, a large part of me feels the sales drop off from the first game to the second game could be down to the fact that the first game was not accessible enough. Yes, you could argue being on essentially 3 platforms is accessible enough, but no slight towards Xbox, but a lot of the JRPG player base these days own PlayStations, Nintendos and PCs. This is why I believe there may have been less anticipation for a second game in the wider spectrum of things. With no PlayStation release for the first game, it could have meant that players felt less of a need to check out the second game, as they may have been unsure as to whether they need to play the first game to enjoy the second. This is also a reason I feel they decided to remove the second game from Xbox and now make it available for PlayStation consoles. Of course, the second game can be enjoyed without having played the first, but without having played the first, some people may have been turned off at playing the second, so in a sense, Team Asano did drop the ball by trying to release the 2 games on different platforms in an essentially scattered manner. So, in a recent interview with the popular video game magazine Famitsu, Keisuke Miyauchi and Masashi Takahashi were asked about what's next for the Octopath Traveler series. Famitsu asked, "Compared to the last entry, Octopath Traveler 2 has advanced a lot, but I can't help but wonder, if 2 has already evolved this much, what would they do if they made a 3? Miyauchi responded, "We haven't decided clearly on future developments yet, but we have casually chatted about what could evolve in the future." Takahashi added, "Originally, when we began development on Octopath Traveler 2, we discussed whether we would evolve the series or change it. For this game, we chose evolution. As developers, some of us likely did feel like trying a completely different direction, but we think the players probably wanted to play something like Octopath Traveler after 5 years. If they weren't able to enjoy the things they liked about the previous game, they'd probably be disappointed. That's why instead of changing up the game, we decided to evolve it, and focused our development efforts on cramming in everything we didn't put into the last game." So guys, to conclude, for me personally, I feel the future of the Octopath Traveler series is bright. Whether they decide to go down the route of making a 3rd game in the series or branching off into something new, Team Asano will always have my money and time, as they always make quality JRPGs with beautiful worlds, music, characters and art direction. Regardless of sales, I still feel the Octopath Traveler series of games should be experienced by everyone 100%. You guys should be checking out Octopath Traveler 2. For me personally, that is one of my favourite JRPGs to come out this year. Me personally, could easily be in my top 5 subscribe list already, man. That might even be #1 at the moment, who knows, depending on what JRPGs come out. But so far, from what I played this year, that has been my favorite JRPG, and 100% I feel it's an experience and a game that people should check out 100%. So that'll do it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you guys for watching. I'd love to know your thoughts on the Octopath Traveler games and what you personally think is next for the series. Please let me know down below in the comments. So please like, sub, share if you're new, hit that notification bell so you get notified for my videos first, and I hope I can be you guys' #1 source for all JRPG news. So from me to you, this has been your bruv, the big bruv, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next video. I'm out. Peace.